What's up, everybody? It's Chase with Energy to Conquer, and today is day 41 on my experimental journey to increasing my energy, my mental clarity, and my overall focus. And I'm down here in the woods today, as you can see, so you might hear some mosquitoes, something buzzing around here, so just ignore it if you do. But look, guys, today I want to talk about your energy and waking up tired. Like, do you wake up tired? Like, I've dealt with that for a majority of my adult life, you know, and that's one of the things that drove me crazy trying to fix. And there's so much bad information out there and I guess just misinformation on this subject of waking up tired. Like, do you wake up not rested or not feel like you're recharged? Like, you just wake up tired. And it's like, I've slept all night. Why am I waking up tired? Like, it doesn't seem to matter whether you sleep 4 hours or sleep 8 hours, right? You just wake up tired and exhausted. And guys, if that's you, you want to make sure to subscribe to this channel, because that's what it's all about, is helping you solve these problems that buying a product at the convenience store is not going to help you with. You know, you can buy pills or whatever formula off of the you know, the internet or off of an infomercial, but I promise you, it's not going to fix your problem. It's a short-term solution and a temporary fix to a more permanent problem. And a lot of this stuff is coming back to stuff that we already know we should be doing, but the big problem is the reason you're not hearing about it is because there's no money in marketing it, right? Most of this is stuff that you could start today on your own, and you don't need anything. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need nothing special, right? This is the no BS truth that you're not going to get anywhere else about how to improve your energy and your health, right? No magic formulas, no magic pills. Guys, look, if you suffer from low energy, and especially if you feel like you wake up tired with no energy, guys, this today is going to help you so much, right? And so what I'm talking about is well, first of all, let me address the elephant in the room. You know, there is a medical condition called obstructive sleep apnea, and especially if you're overweight, you know, above average overweight, it affects you. And that's something that I probably have suffered with from time to time. But one thing I do notice whenever I do get in shape, I don't like snore and stuff as much, and I feel like I get more rest. So that's one issue, but that's only a small part of it, because I'm going to tell you a secret right here that most people don't know, and most people are not going to tell you, simply because they don't know, right? So here's the thing. If you're eating a very complex meal and it's hard to digest, which is basically processed foods. So if you're eating a very processed food diet and you're eating something heavy at night before you go to bed, and you don't have time to digest, some of these meals are going to take you 8+ hours to digest. So if you eat that meal 2 hours before you go to bed, and then you go to bed, you go to sleep, and you're sleeping like a baby. So it takes 8 hours to digest. Some things take longer. Like, you'd be shocked on some of this stuff. But so it takes you 8 hours to digest. You eat it 2 hours before bed. You sleep. First 6 hours you're sleeping. Let's say you sleep for 7 hours. Your body is supposed to be resting and restoring, but your body's burning energy while you sleep, trying to digest. Like, your body's in the digestion phase. So I guess your nervous system, whatever it is still running in the background. And your body's still, like, whenever your body produces acids and whatever it does, right, all these chemicals, biochemicals it produces to digest food and break it down, that's coming at an energy cost. Whenever it produces insulin, right, when you eat too much sweets or too much I guess carb rich food or starchy foods, it produces insulin. And so all this comes at an energy cost, but nobody talks about it. Nobody's talking about the energy cost of digestion, but this stuff will drain you because your body's basically working at night while you're sleeping. And so if that's what you're doing, like, you've got to try to fix that. Like, you've got to try to either eat earlier, and if that's not possible, because I know, look, I run a business, I'm married, I've got 2 kids, 2 small kids, and I know I've been through this. Like, it's almost impossible to eat earlier. But what I'm telling you is you don't necessarily have to eat earlier as much as be more aware of what you eat late at night. And so maybe you eat just a salad or something that's going to digest easily. You can get into food combining. I've not got into food combining yet on this channel, but I'm going to, and it's something that I find very important, because basically food combining is just optimizing your digestion by not mixing carbs and protein, or starches as they call it, and protein, because your body has a tough time digesting those at the same time. Basically your body's using different chemicals to break those down. So whatever's happening there, there's different theories on how that happens, but I'm not getting in the weeds on that. But basically your body ends up having to do double the work, and it takes twice, sometimes 3 times as long to digest, because you're trying to digest foods that take 2 different processes to digest, right? And so especially if you're eating like takeout and fast food, like all that stuff, unless it's a salad, like it's a very complex meal that's going to take a long time to digest. So look guys, if you're having trouble with this, like first, you know, the sleep apnea, and sometimes that's an option you want to check first, and sometimes that's not, right? It can be dangerous. Like that's nothing to play around with. But I'm telling you, if you will start paying attention to the food you eat before you go to bed, and maybe just keep a log for a week, and then how you feel in the morning, and then maybe one evening eat a salad, right? Just eat a salad and wake up the next morning and see how you feel. And if you feel good, try that a couple times. Then maybe try fasting and not eating dinner. Or maybe you eat, maybe if it's not, you know, if you're not able to eat earlier in the day, like cook dinner, maybe you just eat some leftovers like before you would normally eat, or whatever. Maybe prepare something the day before, maybe just a chicken breast, something, whatever it is you eat, right? And eat it. Like now if you're eating pizza and stuff, if you're eating that way before you go to bed, it's going to have an effect, but it's still kind of something you probably shouldn't be eating. It's not going to give you the most energy to begin with, but you get my point here, right? Eat something before you would normally eat, and then just skip dinner, and try and just log it and see the differences. Like do it for a week, what you're normally doing, log it, and then try maybe throw in a salad, and then maybe try skipping, or maybe try eating before you would normally eat. Maybe if you normally eat at 7 o'clock, just eat at something at 4 or 5 and just call it done. Then pay attention to how natural the food you're eating is versus how processed it is. And I'll have some videos coming up, depending on when you watch this, on food combining, which you can dig more into that. But you know, that's another topic as well, where basically you're speeding up the digestion by making it easier for your body to digest, and it's actually helping your body get more nutrients out of what you're eating, because the digestion is easier and it can just kind of do its job and get in and get out, right, and get most it can out of the food. Whereas sometimes a lot of the nutrition may get wasted, if there's even any in it at all, if it's really processed, and that's another issue in itself. So it'll help with not only speeding it up, but help you get the maximum nutrition out of the things that you're eating. And that's why that's so important. And it's not something like people get way out in the weeds with this and it has to be perfect. But I'm telling you, if you stick to an 80-20 rule, where 80% of what you eat is well combined and maybe the other 20% is not, and it doesn't mean you have to go extremes, but you know, if it's mostly maybe that one meal is just 80% right, and then for overall diet you're 80% right, that 20% is only going to make a small difference. So look guys, the big thing is, if you're eating heavy meals, if you're overeating, now it comes back to overeating is a problem as well, because what happens is we kind of skip breakfast, you get busy at work, you kind of skip lunch, and so by the time we get to the evening, we're famished, right? And so we usually end up gorging and overeating, which is the absolute worst thing you can do. Like, you really want to eat less in the meal in the evening than more, right? You want to eat, you probably want to eat, you know, you don't want to overeat, okay? It's better to undereat than overeat. That's what I'm saying. So you got to proportion that stuff out. And the reason that most people end up overeating is because they're at a calorie deficit for the day, and they're at a nutrition deficit for the day, and so their body's trying to make that up because they didn't properly eat throughout the day. And when you get into bodybuilding and even a lot of nutrition, when you get into digestion, when you get into energy, some people say that you should eat multiple meals throughout the day. But if you do that, if you eat a meal, eat a decent breakfast, then a snack in between, then a decent lunch, then a snack in between. You won't need to overeat for dinner or for supper and whatever you call it, wherever you live, right? That last meal of the day, you won't have to overeat because your body will have the calories that it needs. But when we don't plan out that process and we just kind of skimp all day, and then boom, we eat this big huge meal, and that big huge meal may take 12 hours to digest. So that's why you're waking up tired, right? And so that's something we have to be conscious of, and we have to, you know, be smart. This whole nutrition and diet game, like, people make this something that it's not, like it's some mythical thing, but it's a skill, and it's a skill you have to develop to live an effective life. And that's what this channel is dedicated to, is helping you develop those skills so that you can live an effective life, and you can live, you know, up to your potential, but not even to potential, because I know potential, sometimes people don't like that word, but I'm saying live a high quality life, live a quality life, right? Because you don't want to get on the opposite side of this energy game. And anybody that knows it's on the opposite side of this energy game and you've got low energy, it's just like a downward spiral that's affecting every area of your life. You know, you got 4 areas of your life: your body, which is your just physical strength, your physical energy, and your muscles, your endurance. Then you've got your being, which is, you know, your relationship with yourself, almost your mental health, and just that ability to clarity, the focus, to be able to manage your emotions. Some people add God into that conversation. I'll leave that up to you. Like, I'm not getting into that conversation on this channel, but you know, it's something I add God into that conversation, and a lot of people add God into that conversation, so it's going to affect your relationship with God. And then you've got, you know, your balance in your relationships. You know, it's going to come in family, well, you're married, not married, whatever, your spouse, and then your children. So if you ain't got the energy, you're not going to be able to give them the energy that you need. And as parents, especially with small children, we get so bogged down with this energy game, and we feel so guilty, and that guilt that weighs on us just affects our being, right, our mental health. And it's just like, oh, even when we sit down to have time with our children or with our spouse, it's like we're not fully there mentally because we just don't have the energy to focus. We don't have the clarity, right? It's gone. And then you get into the conversation of business, and you know, whether you own a business or where you work in a business, or whether your business is just, you know, being a stay-at-home mom or dad or whatever it is. Like, if you don't have the energy to function, like, you become unproductive, right? And you become, I guess you just stack up with regrets, and you get in this procrastination cycle. Probably you get in this dread cycle, you get in this mental cycle, and it just affects everything. But the big thing is you don't produce to the level that you know that you can produce, and so you're never going to ever reach your potential in that area to be able to help and always go the extra mile and do the things that you should be doing that make you feel good about yourself, and which also goes back to the being part of this game. And just kind of growing and being able to help others through your work, right? Because that's the big thing, the fulfillment in the work part. Like, but if you don't have the energy to go the extra mile, to you know, go over and above to create that fulfillment and that passion and that purpose in what you do. And that's another thing that comes back to being. Like, a lot of this comes back to being. A lot of this conversation of mental health gets ignored, but the conversation of being on passion and purpose, like, you lose your passion and purpose in your business, like, that's a conversation in being, because it's being neglected. And the first thing, when our energy gets down, we first neglect usually our mental health, like taking time for us, and which includes your body. So our physical health goes down, and then our relationships start taking a toll, and next thing you know, our business is taking a toll, and it's just a mess. And at best, most people can manage, you know, two of these areas effectively, unless you have a system in place to do it, or you just extremely high energy. But if you're watching this, you're probably not extremely high energy, but you know, most people are managing one. So whether that's business and they're neglecting their relationships, their being, and their physical health, or maybe, you know, they're doing two, which they're focused on maybe business and maybe their health, their body, right? They go to the gym and they run a business, but their marriage and relationships, their children's playing, I guess, paying the cost, right? And their being, their mental health, you know, the physical plays some role in that, but also there's things that's not physical that gets in the way. And so, you know, or even maybe your body and your family is where you put all your effort, and your business side of that, that's your work, or your business gets neglected, or your being gets neglected. So look, guys, you know, you can play this game all around the board, but most people are managing one. At best, most people are usually managing 2, and if you can find somebody that's managing 3 or 4, they're operating at a very high level, and that takes energy, and you've got to have energy to do that, and that's what this channel is all about. So look, guys, if any of this message resonates with you, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you like it, be sure to like use the like button below, right? If you like what I'm saying, use the like button, and comment. That'll help me reach more people with this content. Guys, that's all I've got for you today. You got to be mindful of what you're eating before you go to bed, not necessarily for the food itself, but for the digestion that's draining your energy while you're supposed to be restoring. You can't restore fully while you're burning energy, and if you're making your body work overtime when it should be resting, you're going to wake up tired every single time. And guys, to experiment with this, it's super easy. Log what you eat before you go to bed. Try mixing in some salads. Try skipping dinner one night. See what happens and see how you feel. I'm telling you, when you skip dinner, it's going to be hard, and it sounds like something that most people are not willing to do, but if you'll do that, you're going to wake up with energy in the morning. You're going to wake up hungry, but you're going to wake up with energy, right? And I'm not saying you need to skip dinner every night, but you need to control that, and you need to at least eat in time. Like maybe, you know, you eat 4 hours before bed, and then you go for a walk, because walking actually helps your digestion. The worst thing you do with digestion is lay flat, because it just get real still, because it slows the digestion process, because you're kind of helping move things around and kind of jostle things around in the acids and whatever in your stomach. So when you go for a walk after eating, it kind of helps with that digestion to kind of move things around. And if you get very, I guess, docile, which would be like eating and then going to sleep, it's slowing down the digestion in itself anyways. So all I got for you guys today. Hope you have a blessed one.